Relax. Happy birthday to you. Câu 11 đây. Agree chart. Đây để bao nhiêu? To agree that using an email at work is more effective way of communication than a face-to-face conversation. I agree that using an email at work is a more effective way of communication than a face-to-face conversation. For a few reasons. First of all, sending email is more convenient for both the sender and the receiver. In the specific uh, a person may be in the middle of something important and complicated. If I send an email, if I go to speak to him or her, I can disturb him or her. But if I send an email, he can view it when it is convenient for him or her. Secondly, it is easier to send a lot of information at once through email. For example, I can send many documents in an email because I can attach them into the email. These are the reasons why I think so. What's an advantage of getting the job in a startup company? Hả? Lợi thế việc nhận một công việc trong một cái công ty mới khởi nghiệp á? There are some advantages of getting a job in a startup company. Most of all, we can have various experience at work. In the case of my close friend, she working he worked in a startup marketing company after graduating from college. As soon as she entered the company, she always participate, pas- participated in the important meetings with clients. He always participated in the in the important meetings with clients. Also, she could learn about how to run a company. As a result, she was able to start her company in 5 years. Therefore, I think there's some advantage of getting a job in a startup company. Học cách để vận hành một công ty. Do đó anh ấy có thể bắt mở một công ty trong 5 năm. In học á. There are some advantages of getting a job in a startup company. Most of all, we can have various experience at work. In the case of my close friend, close friend, she worked in he she worked in a startup marketing company after graduated from college. As soon as she en she entered 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 the company, as soon as khi cô ấy làm gì as soon as she entered the companies, she always participated in the important meeting with clients. Also, she could learn run how to run a company. Also, we could learn about and learn. Also, she could learn how to run a company. As a result, she was able to start her company in 5 years. Therefore, I think there are some advantages of getting a job in a startup company. Imagine that you start a company with the following because the following could be the more difficult when you prepare for the business: finding a good location, hiring a smart employee, promoting a business. The most difficult when I prepare for my business is hiring. I think finding a good location could be the most difficult when I prepare my business. Most of all, it's very expensive to rent a good location. In the case of my close friend, he opened a cafe in an expensive town called Hongdae. So she spent most of income on the rent. His, so she spent the most of the income on the rent. Also, he worked all day because he couldn't afford to hire a part-timer. Because he could couldn't he couldn't afford to hire a part-time. As a result, he moved cafe to a small town. Therefore, I think finding a good location could be the most difficult when I prepare my business. Prepare my business. I think hiring hiring smart employee is the most difficult when I prepare for my business. Most of all, most of all, if is the employee uh, doesn't work well, my company will reduce performance. Hiring a smart employee in the case of my close friend, she hiring an employee and she hiring a female oh, a imp- she hiring a employee and nói thế nào được nhỉ? In the case of my close friend, he opened a cafe and hired a, a part-time employee. Employee, the staff, the staff, uh, gọi là gì? Đã the staff spend spend uh, spent the staff spent much time in 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 some easy task. This this điều này gây ra việc giảm hiệu suất. This cause 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 this cause his career caused this increase reduce uh, his company's productivity. Productivity has reduce productivity of his company's productivity. Caused reduce productivity so his company. Cause this caused a reduction in his company's productivity. His company's productivity decreased with the latter cause. This caused a reduction in his company's productivity. Productivity. Tasks. I think hiring a smart employee could be the most difficult when I prepare my business. Most of all, most of all, phải nói một lý do đúng không? Hiring unsmart, smart, unsmart. Most of all, having a smart employee can help my business uh, runs transaction run smart and có thể vận hành dễ dàng. Most of all, having a smart employee can help my business run smart operate more effectively and smarter. Most of all, having a smart employee can help my business operate more effectively, vận hành cách hiệu quả hơn. Operate more effectively. In the case in the case of my girlfriend, he opened a cafe and hiring a and hired employee, and the staff needs to spend much time in easier tasks. This causes the reduction in his company's productivity. So he he mu- he he does he he must uh, hiring another employee. As a result, he needs to hiring the other employee. Therefore, I think having a smart employee could be the most difficult when I prepare my business. I think finding a good location could be the most difficult when I prepare my business. Most of all, it's very expensive to rent a good location. In the in the case of my close friend, he opened a cafe in an expensive town called called Hongdae. Hongdae. So he spent most of income on rent. Also, he worked all day because he couldn't afford to hire a part-timer. He worked all day. He worked all day because he couldn't afford to hire a part-timer. As a result, he moved he moved the cafe to a small town. Therefore, I think finding a good location could be the most difficult when I prepare my business. For university students, what's the disadvantage of working at a job while attending university? There are some disadvantages. There are some disadvantages of working at a job when attending university. Most of all, is it is difficult to concentrate on studying. It's difficult to concentrate on studying. When I was a university student, I had I had a part-time job at a convenience store from 10 p.m. to 5 p.m. So I was always tired in daytime. Also, I often fell asleep in class. Asleep, asleep,
asleep,
asleep. I often fall asleep in class. As a result, my grades dropped badly. Therefore, I think there are some disadvantages of working as a job while attending university. concentrate on studying. There are some disadvantages of working a job while attending university. Most of all, it's difficult to concentrate on studying. Uh, when I were when I was a university student, I had a part-time job in a convenience store from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. So I was always tired in daytime. Also, I often fell asleep in class. As a result, my grades dropped badly. Concentrate. There are some disadvantages of uh, working at a job. Working at a job when when attending the university. Most of all, is difficult to concentrate on studying. Uh, when I was when I uh, was a university student, I had a part-time job at a convenience store from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. So I was always tired in daytime. Also, I fell asleep in class. As a result, my grades dropped badly. Dropped, dropped badly. Therefore, I think there are some disadvantages of working in a job at a job at a job when attending the university. Dễ dàng để đạt được những cái thành công một thành công lớn so với chấn nhỏ. I agree that it is easier to achieve professional success in a big city than a small town. Most of all, it is easier to get high quality education and high quality education. When I was a university student, I lived in a small city. but there are no language. But there was no language school to study English. So I went to Seoul. When I went to Seoul to study at the famous language school. As a result, I was able to get a high score in TOEIC, and it was helpful to get a job. Therefore, I agree that it is easier to achieve professional success in a big city than in a small town. Small town. In my city, I agree that it's easier to achieve professional success in a big city than a small town. Most of all, it's easier to get high quality education. When I was a university student, I lived in a small city, but there was no language school to study English. So I went to Seoul to study at a famous language school. As a result, I was able to get a high score TOEIC, and it was helpful to get a job. Therefore, I think I think I agree that it's easier to achieve professional success in a big city than a small town. Most of all, it's very competitive to run a business in a big city. However, he didn't have many the customers because there was a lot of cafe in the city. Also, the rents was too expensive, so he moved the cafe to the small town last year to avoid the competition. As a result, the number of customers has been increasing. 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 Why now? I agree that I disagree that it's easier to achieve professional success in a big city than a small town. Most abroad is very competitive. It's very competitive to run a business in a big city. In the case of my close friend, he opened a cafe in Seoul about 2 years ago. However, he didn't have many customers because there were a lot of cafes in the city. Also, the rent is too expensive, was too expensive, so he moved the cafe to a small town last year to avoid the competition. As a result, the number of customers has been increasing. Asleep. It's very competitive to run a business in a big city. Này không có hệ thống đọc tốt này. I agree that using email at work is more effective way. Is more effective way of communication than a face-to-face conversation. First of all, sending sending email is more convenient to both the sender and receiver. In to be specific, a person might be in a middle of something important and complicated. If I go to speak him or her, I can disturb him or her. But if I send an email to uh, send an email send an email, the recipient can view it when it is convenient for him or her. Secondly, it's easier to send a lot of information at once through email. For example, I can sending many documents in an email because I can attach to the email. Therefore, I agree that using an email at work is a more effective way of communication than a face-to-face conversation. A or B là sao?